welcome. Anyone, any questions you'd like to
No.
ask?
No.
Thank you. So today lesson will go through LO4, Learning Outcome 4. Previous lesson, we had a discussion about assurance engagement. We had a discussion about internal control. We discussed about risk, audit risk, control risk, detection risk. Today lesson will be focused about professional ethics, and which is based on the LO4. Okay, we'll start then. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thanks for joining. Okay, those are listening, please, if you have any question, just drop me email and get back to you, versity.co.uk, and I'll try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. So today lesson key focus will be always good to reflect what you know about audit and professional ethics. So always good to reflect. And those are 5 professional code of ethics. Really, we need to follow those. Working or if you're a member of any professional body, these are very important ethics. As a professional person, we're supposed to be followed, and we always draw safeguards. Safeguard is protecting our professional code of ethics. We're not supposed to be compromise our professional code of ethics. So 4.1, we have explained the role of professional ethics. Then we have to look around, analyze how the professional and the principle of the professional behavior protect and the public and fellow professionals. So wider interest of the public really we need to work towards, and explain the threads. There are the 5 different types of threads we need to be minimized and draw the safeguard. So your internal control system need to be in place. Confidentiality is very important. Of course, the GDPR, general data protection, client information, not declaring until it's the best interest of the public and the court order, and then we can declare if somebody is involved in the money laundering and all of this. So these otherwise we're not supposed to declare the information. So today lesson indicated content will go through the role of ethical code in relation to assurance, will rule-based and principle. There are 2 types of approach, is rule-based and the principle. Rule is tick boxes, is a clear cut like GDPR, health and safety, money laundering, bribery act. These are all the rules. And the principle are the ethics. Those are called moral principle. Those are given by the awarding body. If we don't follow it, we can compromise our professional code of ethics, and that leads to the losing the license. But it's not really going into if you're not. So if you're not follow ethic, it can be fine. It can be you can lose the membership. Threads are fundamental. These threads, we need to be self-interest, don't working toward the self-interest, because the financial statement need to be true and fair. If the financial statement not fair, not true, these leads to be compromise our objectivity and integrity. Self-review, if you're checking your own work, you used to work as a bookkeeper or accountant, now you're in an audit. So it means self-review. You're not going to find your own mistakes, So it's better to be, that leads to be compromise your professional code of ethics as well. So we have to draw the safeguard. We don't need to be checking our own work. We can allocate to someone else if that's happened. So advocacy can be if you have 2 clients and come to you and ask you, or your own opinion you want to be imposed on someone, that leads to be compromise your objectivity. Even it can leads to be, it's not a professional behavior. Familiarity, if you know your close family relationship, and that's you're familiar, you know each other, you may be compromise objectivity. Intimidation, if they say, business say, if you don't pass our audit or not give the assurance, if you give the negative assurance, that leads to we're not going to get the loan, and ultimately we will be your job, our job can be risk. In future, you maybe not get the client fees, and that's the intimidation. These need to be compromised the objectivity, maybe integrity you will be won't be honest in your affairs. So these are all the professional code of ethics which we look, into the lesson. Explain the role of professional ethics, which is the vital editors can offer the credible opinion. Credible, what is meant by credible? It's matched with the reality, matched with the true and fair in the light of audit and assurance standards. So we ethics is concerned about the behavior, trying to ensure a auditor act professionally independent. Independent. You not depend on that's other controversies because you're getting the fees. Your business can be depend on the client, but still you need to be independent. So that's really itself is a question mark, but we need to be followed as a code of ethics, and we need to be independent. Okay, so it's a crucial editors both follow the ethical guidance and proceed to follow ethical standard and the guidance. We can look around suitable difference between the two requirements. We can consider accounting standard we follow and look around the accounting scandals which we have recent time like Enron, biggest, the scandal of history. It's good to watch 3 hours movie on how they cook the book. Yes, creative accounting, and these, we can, and ultimately it leads to the like Anderson and various other companies. They involve these, and that's their credibility, and even they close the audit license and loss. So think about everyone involved in the audit profession will remember the case of US Enron, which we just mentioned. Uh, so we need to be think about true and fair information. Editors can draw the opinion based on, and of course, otherwise, it was the case against the Anderson, Arthur and Anderson, the audit firm, biggest from four, and now we can look around the short videos there, which we can look around how this can be compromised professional. So I'll send you the link, if you want to. They are on the YouTube. Creative accounting Enron scandal. Yes, so the future prices they used to be forecast today date, and the figures they used to be included in the book of accounts. So how come it can be? We can say future business will be 2 million, and we can today date we can include in the book of account as a sale. So it shouldn't be. We have accrual concept, matching concept, which is income and expenditure should be matched in the year true and fairly, not based on the cash, we do. So ethics are the set moral principle guide behavior, ethical value exemption and the belief, right and wrong. We can look around. Ethics value are the both individual and the organization should and be ethical code and code of conduct. Like in wherever we work, we have a staff handbook, code of conduct, and the compliance procedure. Really, that is quite crucial to run the organization effectively. So we can look around the moral value essential, the mastering the particular skill and technique, developing ethical approach, acknowledge the duty towards. So duty toward the wider interest of the society, not the shareholders' wealth maximization. Now we have the concept stakeholders' interest, their wealth maximization as well, not just the shareholder. So objectivity rendering services highest standards and the public interest really we need to look around. Okay, so these are the 5 professional code of ethics. So remember easily, we had a discussion in the previously as well. Popular people chat in office. So P is the professional behavior. So you can remember the word popular people chat in office. PPCIO. Popular famous people chat in office. So first P is the professional behavior. Comply with the relevant rule and the legislation, avoid action that may bring the profession into dispute. Second P is the maintain the professional knowledge and you carry on doing CPD because Finance Act every year is changed. And if we're not aware of, so that's, because if you're working especially in practice, so it's crucial. C is the confidentiality, popular people chat is C stand for confidentiality, define the disclosure of the confidential information from using such information. Personal or third, we not for the personal and third parties interest, sharing the information of client and their approach to that's it, is breaking the Confidentiality Act 2018, GDPR also is ethics as well. Objectivity, uncompromised. So first is I is the integrity, straightforward, honest, fair dealing, and then uncompromised bias, conflict of interest, undue influence. If somebody undue intimidation can be leads to family, friends, undue influence, client fees, your lot of your if you fear that the client you will lose, ultimately you will lose your revenue as a fees, which you're getting from the audit company. That's it can be undue influence. Okay, so self-interest, either you member in practice or member in business, all we have to follow financial interest in client. It depends, have a financial interest in employer, so not self-interest, you focus. Opportunity, you use the corporate asset to own advantage. Or you can use our car, no problem. You're going holidays, take a new car. We book your holidays because we are hotel in abroad. You will get special because you are wonderful or details you always give us, you listen us. So ultimately they can influence on you and objectivity can be compromised. So there is a no hard and fast rule, but up to £50 worth of the gift can be accepted. But more than £50, it can be undue influence and it can be compromise our professional code of ethics. So self-review, checking your own work, as we mentioned earlier, it's better to don't do it. It can compromise. Familiarity, if you know many years, it's better to rotate your details from one client to other client. That's, because that's long-term association, close relationship ultimately leads to compromise the professional code of ethics. Intimidation, of course, threats of dismissal, replacement, losing contract, these can be, and ultimately, again, integrity and objectivity can be compromised. There is unlikely advocacy, significant advocacy, the threat to employees and organizations is expected to promote the employer position to the further objective. So your promotion will be this can be ultimately, or you have a two clients, they are going to take over the third business and you're giving advice of one, maybe you compromise. If you say, I'm not giving you advice because the other client, maybe confidentiality can be compromised. So we have to give one person deal with one and other can be deal others and give different their opinion about the business. So safeguard, well, the leadership culture in the organization stress on the importance of fundamental principles. We can look around the corporate governance, how the company run and control, policies and procedures in place, tight control in place, the plan in place, the quality performance monitoring, recruitment selection, can be the leader communicate and mode of ethical behaviors. Is treating equality law, all are there, but ethics is more moral principle, raising high standards and working in the best interest of the public as well as the company as well. Okay, safeguard, we can disciplinary procedures in place, engagement, safeguard, rotating team, reliance on the safeguard in the client system, and the opportunity to consult other professionals in confidential if required. Anybody, any question, please? If you have, you can ask. Okay, then ethical resolution obtain, always relevant evidence, look around, involve the parties, tell them, this, what your professional code of ethics, what are the laws, you're not going to compromise. It will goodwill of the company also compromise in the future dates and company sustainability can be raised a question mark in the future. So we have to focus on these key points, obtain advice from professional institute. If you can't really like you have the interest, your professional code of ethics and interests of the company, the cash flow, like you're working on the VAT, and your boss saying, come on, don't include the invoice because we don't have a cash and we have to make the payment to HMRC. We short of the cash and this invoice missed it in the next our VAT return, we can add it, we can rectify errors. So it's a conflict of loyalty because you're loyal with the employer, you're loyal with your profession. So if you have that case, advice to you can't compromise your objectivity. If the client, if your boss not listen, then of course you can call to the whoever your awarding body get the advice from. With the last option can be resigned from the role. Okay, and if involved in the money laundering, of course, NCA and various other, money laundering regulatory bodies we can. Okay, acceptance of consideration, independent objectivity, management integrity, money laundering rules and legislation, risk, of course, we can't say contingent fee. It's illegal to do, like, I'll save you such tax and you will pay me the half money yours, half mine. It's illegal to do so. Okay, the fees we can charge according to the service we provide, according to the time we spend. Okay, so professional competencies, reputation of the client, and precondition of an audit, and always looking these, the key points need to be fulfilled. Okay, new work and engagement letters need to be obtained. The work recommendation, tenders have the risk, need to be thoroughly researched. In offer the assignment, communicate with the outgoing editors because they can give you and leave you the notes for assess the commercial desirability, assignment, responsibility, objectivity, reference. These are the key. Inherently, maybe there are the business is risky if they're dealing with the cash. So you have to give the opinion about basis of the fees. The fees is not on the basis of the saving, basis of the professional service. 4.2, analyze the principle of the professional behaviors, protect the public and the fellow professionals. Anyone, any question, please? If you have, you can ask. Okay. If no, we can move to the next. The attitude is the critical assessment of the use of the questioning and necessary to prevent, special suspicious circumstances, draw incorrect conclusion, neither assume or the management dishonest, collect the evidence, and this means attitude include being alert the condition and look around the misstatement due to the errors or the fraud. Errors can be happen anything, but the fraud is intentionally you do things. So important for the editor, the note down, the importance of the conversation, the client and support to provide the audit evidence. So professional ethics, ethical standard editor are to be given impartial opinion, and it is therefore important they are the independent of the company and the professional. These are 5 ethics not supposed to be compromised. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, we need to be minimize the threats. Our objectivity, these 5 threads and focus on professional appointment, second opinion, fees and remuneration, marketing, gift hospitality. These are the threads. We have to draw the safeguard different from the personnel, from the providing non-assurance services. We can monitoring and manage the reliance on the revenue from the single client. We can identify the interest of the relationship. We can look around disciplinary mechanism, independent reviews, safeguard applies, engagement, independent review of audit working paper, disclosures and discussion, ethical issues, and rotation senior. That's, also it could be a safeguard. So ethics and ethical standard, we can look around confidentiality, authorized disclosures need to be disclosure required by law. Those need to be by law. You have to declare in your notes in the book of accounts, like where this asset came from, what liability you have, what agreement we have, what future plan we have. So these are security procedures. Don't discuss the client matters with any third party. Don't use the client information to own it again. Don't leave the audit files unattended. Don't leave the audit cases in a car. Don't take the working paper away from the office without the reason. So you have to look around principle and rule-based approach, as we earlier discussed. Principle is the moral, rigorous comply with the spirit, the bigger picture, the flexibility, changing circumstances, promote skill, judgment, creative culture, ethical, but advantage of the rule-based, clear-cut, correct course of action. But when we're looking principles, of course, we mention, but sometimes principal approach can be not easy, maybe morally correct to you, morally not correct to someone else, and be able to more one course of action and conflicting interests need to be balanced approach. We have to, and the disadvantage of the rule based, there can be a lot of lot of loophole. These are the tick boxes where we can look around the more than the international accounting standards, because the people say I'm following the standard, but there are the moral principles in the wider interest. Is like, so compliance with the law, we can look around criminal law and the civil law. Criminal law is all about, we need bundle of evidence. If you're not following any rules and legislation, that leads to the criminal. Civil, the ethics are the civil laws. Yes, conflict with the community, the concept of the punishment not apply. So accountant has affected by the law, not obviously health and safety legislation, employment protection, equality laws, and all, these are the legislation. Accountant code is not legally enforced. Penalties are discretion of the professional bodies, and we have to look around these in the light of. But your goodwill is really important, because that's your future business as well. So UK professional largely self-regulatory, with the accounting bodies responsible for setting and upholding ethical standards. We can look around the Financial Reporting Council, accountancy and treasury professions. We can look around the FRC, Financial Reporting Council, include the issuing the standards, corporate governance, how the company run, their executive and non-executive members and their application, all are the safeguard and comply with. And then, of course, if those not from comply, we can take the action against them. International Federation of Accountants, those, set the standard for International Ethical Standard Board. They follow, and after the consult, and then we have a consultative committee accounting body. We have HMRC, the UK government department, who aim to ensure the correct, tax is being paid at the right time. If not, it leads to the NCA, National Crime Agency. Business ethics, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty is very important, and that's value we need to be promote in our business, in our so we can code of conduct can be developed. So business ethics and the professional ethics, the code of conduct is designed to influence the behavior of employees, the stated, the situation, working in the best interest of the business and the public. Code of practice, which is adopted by the professional bodies and the organization, regulates anyone who has any connection with ACCA or ATHE or any other awarding bodies. We can look around active leadership, buy-in from employees, and suitable training need to be given to the effective ethical program, improve communication, promote consistently your code of conduct booklet, reduce the risk of the damage, the corporate reputation, because that's, takes the ages to develop. Okay, sustainability, of course, we have to look around the three P's: profit, planet, and people. Meeting the current generation need without the compromising the needs of the future generation. Sustainable development, the wider interest of society is the key, not for the sake of the short-term gain, and it's your responsibility. The interests are social accounting will be kept in mind. Economics, social and environmental factors need to be it's not just only the profit need to be, but all need looking the sporting implies the working conditions and environmental, less energy, car sharing, and these, that help, and in accountant can, the editors can promote as well these, and sustainability, the responsibility of finance professional creating and promoting ethical culture, champion in moral values, social and environmental ethical factors down, promoting sustainable practices. And we can look around, increase the manufacturing cost and fewer products available for society. So we have to look around, these are the risks, we have to manage them, and we have to tell the people, and ultimately working towards protecting the environment. Okay, then we have, please, anyone, any question regarding 4.2? If you want to ask, please, welcome. Is all okay? Okay, next, please, we're looking 4.3, explain the threats and the fundamental principle and the risk, improper practices. So we already had a discussion about ethics, operational risk, that risk damage the organization caused by the fault internal processes. It can be leads to the consequences even outside. It can be the type of operational risk, internal fraud, external fraud, employment practices, work, client close relationship, recruiting those people, not have the properly recruitment selection process, the business options or the system failures can be processed and the delivery outcome. Operational risk can be classification, it can be reputational litigation, process, people, system, legal, and events. When we look the events of the risk, it can be physical, social, political, and economic. The source of the risk can come from the political manifestos and all, that leads to the continue the professional development, of course, is very reporting and auditing standard, ethical code, tax rule, criminal laws affecting accountant, and other legislation which will carry on following. Okay, so what does the profession and ethics means to you? So let's discuss. You have seen the scandal, you think about, please, it's good to be watch the video, read the case, how they did it, the book, there are 3 hours movie as well. Rule based and the principle based, we already had discussion, focus more, both, but the moral principle is more than, because the rule based is more tick boxes and there can be loopholes, but you set the higher ethical and professional standard, not just only the code of conduct, other your compliance procedures can be the prospective and the guidance and accept the model and helping and promoting the professional values and ultimately this bring, So International Code of Ethics has developed International Federation of Accountants. They aim to be consistently and providing countries with a starting point of developing their own code because they can follow internationally or they can set up their own code of practices in the light of the International Ethics Standard Board. International Accounting Standard Board, the conceptual framework set the concept and desired preparation and presentation of the financial statement. Now, watch introduce the video. We've been given ethics, so please, you've been given the links which is set by the ACCA video is about ethics and the moral value. And if we want to be, it's good to work about M, which is the merit criteria, important of confidentiality, assurance, engagement. Confidentiality is very important. Is the GDPR, is the ethics as well. You can draw and not discussing with third party, not involving, not taking the gift. It leads to be even sometime we can share the information, business plan, budget are implied, are the salary so important, not declaring the information to the third party without the consent of the client. So we have a lot of discussion here. We've been given the article of ACCA, which we can follow. Internal control, we had a discussion, is very important. The document, even you want to be keep in record your how long we need to be and the information not declaring to the third party and keep secure and carry on updating. Deliberately misuse of the system to result work of the non-existent poorly applied the control. So you have a clearly controlled system. Client confidentiality is very important. We have to look around. We can't really, only we can declare the information when the client give the permission. Sorry, I'm just moving around the slide. So ACCA ethics and the code of conduct address the area of editor confidentiality. Stated the editors require the information. The course of the professional work should not be disclosed in any such information to third parties without the first obtain permission from the clients. So confidentiality is implied terms that are the written and the express terms, those can employed by law and the express it being set up in the contract. So those we need to be and not declaring to the third party, and that's So it's obligatory. The editor should oblige the disclosures. There's an example of the secretary write the duty of the disclosures, such as the editor suspect to client involved in the money laundering, declared trafficking, drugs, or anything that came to notice, editor need to be declared to the certain authorities obliged to disclose the information. Voluntary in certain circumstances, the editors are free as opposed to be obliged to disclose the information without obtaining the client permission. So the information can be categorized into 4 areas. Public interest is very important. Any interest can be public interest can be disclosed. Protect the members' interest, that not declaring the negligence action, that disciplinary action can be an unpaid fee authorized by state by law. You have to declare or doesn't declare confidentiality. Non-governmental body entities may be approached by the non-governmental seeking information like how much profit they have, what dividend they pay, annual general meeting notes and all. This can be few people and the firms can get the benefit you would be not supposed to declare that one. Okay, other than that, please, you've been given the link. Those are the chapter from which is Kaplan. So it's good to go through. And if you have any question, please ask. So today lesson, we discuss about assurance engagement. In the next lesson, we look around our assignment discussion, which we'll go through in the next lesson. And thanks for attending. Please, if you have any question, you can ask. Today lesson, we went through the 5 professional code of ethics, 5 threads, and we, in line with auditor's rules and responsibilities, auditor need to protect and promote the transparency and true and fair information for the client. Okay, so that was the key in our lesson. And please, if you want to enhance further, we can look around various articles given on assurance engagement. In certain scenarios, those are given. And please, you can follow F8 of ACCA, which is on the Open Tuition A Audit and Assurance. Or you can look around, the separate articles, couple of stuff, which is already on Moodle page and which you can access, all the information from there as well for extra reading. Thanks for attending and have a lovely weekend. If no question. Anyone, any question, please?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you during our next lesson. We'll go through assignment discussion and we'll go through our learning outcome, how we can address within our assignment. And that will be in our next lesson. Thank you. Have a lovely weekend and I'll speak to you during our next lesson.
Thank you, and you.
Thank
You too. Thanks.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.